All right, we're about to get this show rolling. Let's go, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us on today. Let's go, guys. Let's go. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. Good evening, everyone. How you doing on this Friday? We call it a Favor Friday, man. I'm thankful to be here on this evening. I'm yours truly, Apostle C. And of course, we welcome you to the green screen. Of course, the green screen, you know all about it. What is it? It's inspirational. It's also motivational, encouraging, and very, very informative. All right. And we're going to get the show started on tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters in Christ all across Facebook and everywhere, amen. Thank y'all so much for joining us on this evening. And tonight is a special edition of the green screen, all right? And we have the candidates for the 16th Judicial District Court. And my very first guest on this evening is Mr. Keith E. Thibodeau, number 77. Welcome to the green screen. Appreciate you. How you doing?
Yourself, Pastor C. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, we're doing real good on tonight, And I want to thank you. I appreciate you for joining us on tonight for the green screen. And man, and I tell you what, hey, listen, for this 30 minutes, it's all about you. And we're going to go ahead on and we're going to get things rolling, man, on this evening. So first of all, Mr. Key, why don't you go ahead on and, and tell us about you. Yeah, let us know. Who is Keith Thibodeau?
Thanks again, Pastor C. Again, I'm Keith Thibodeau, candidate for the 16th Judicial District Court, Division F. That's important because we do have two judicial races which are going on now. There is both, again, the Division F, which we are running in, and a Division H. Very importantly, both of those races carry all three parishes, St. Martin, St. Mary, and Iberia. A little background on myself. I'm happily married to my wife of 37 years. We have 4 beautiful children, 2 beautiful grandchildren, which we try to spoil as much as we can.
Yes, sir.
We've been blessed in the past. They've been spread out, but fortunately, we've got all our little chickens right around our house. So we're pleased to have them all. They're easily accessible, and Grandma, Papa, and Mimi are more than happy to care for them whenever we can.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing.
It is, Pastor.
Thank God. Yeah, I'm a grandparent as well, and I know how we can spoil them, right?
Oh, most definitely.
Yes, sir. So let's go. Let's talk, man, because the green screen, that's what we do. We talk. So I want to ask you, man, you have an interesting, very interesting story about your career. So can you share a story with our audience on this evening?
Certainly, Pastor C. As a judicial candidate, of course, we all hear, what is your experience? How much experience, what type of experience that you have. But very importantly, a district judge in this particular district hears all cases, all legal matters. You may hear a case today concerning a divorce. Tomorrow you may hear a criminal felony motions day. You name it, you've got to be prepared as a district judge in the 16th Judicial District Court to handle each and everything that comes before you. Mm-hmm. So again, Pastor, not only is it important that obviously your experience and your education fits your role as a district judge, but I believe your life experiences as a candidate are extremely important. They help shape your decisions. I think in terms of your ability to understand people, to have compassion for people. And that's where I think my life experiences are important. Especially with my career. Just like everyone, little Johnny wants to be a fireman when he grows up. Little Susie may want to be a nurse. When I was in high school, my now wife, who was of course my girlfriend then, we had the little Johnny discussion, Pastor. And long story short, I told her, you know what I'd always want to be is, I've always thought of being a Louisiana State Trooper.
Okay.
Well, yeah, exactly, Pastor. A little bit different. Usually I get reactions like, really? Long story short, my again then girlfriend Bonnie, my now wife, if you know her, you know she's fair, but she's also firm.
Mhm.
Long story short, she says, "Well, we'll talk about this later, but maybe you could find another career in another area in the legal field. I just don't want to get that call in the middle of the night that unfortunately I no longer have a father. Our children no longer has a father. I no longer have a husband." But it was always, again, Pastor C, was always in my mind that one day I would want to pursue something in the legal field.
Mhm.
My best high school friend and I decided in the 11th grade during the summer months that we would do what our buddies were doing. Back then in the late 70s, all of our friends were graduating from high school, Pastor, and we were looking at them. And sure enough, within months after graduating, they had the welding machines in the back end of the truck making big, big bucks.
Yes,
So
sir.
we were smart. We were like, well, we want a piece of that action also.
Mhm.
Well, long story short, during our senior high school year, we made a deal with our high school principal. He allowed us to attend Tesh Area Vocational Technical School over in Iberia Parish. We graduated simultaneously with a high school degree together with an electrician's certificate. I worked, Pastor C, and so did my friend. We worked as electricians offshore, onshore, until unfortunately the downturn in the oil and gas industry.
Right.
It was at that point in time that I started thinking back on, what are my long-term goals? I then, again, my wife and I were not yet married. We discussed, I said, you know what, I think I'm going to go over to, I'll date myself here, Pastor, a little bit, to USL.
Mhm.
What is now University of Louisiana at Lafayette, again, USL. I obtained a business degree, came out after obtaining my business degree, and worked over in Iberia Parish with the Iberia Parish School Board, worked as a purchasing agent there, later worked in private industry as an accountant. Worked for about 2 years. And at that point in time, guess what? Miss Bonnie was now Mrs. Thibodeau,
Okay.
my wife. So
Yes, sir.
we went back to that discussion of me, again, wanting to pursue something in the legal field. And I knew at that point in time, I wanted to go to law school. So we did, graduated from LSU Law School. And as fate may have it, I was fortunate enough to work as a law clerk for Judge Robert Buddy Fleming in St. Mary Parish. At the end of our clerkship, our 1-year clerkship, I then went on and he told me, listen, Mr. Keith, I think you'd be great. Why don't you go back to St. Martinville? They have an attorney there by the name of Mr. Burt Willis. He's been practicing forever. I'd bet he could use some young companies such as yourself. And again, Pastor C, as we all do, especially with experience in aging, we look back on things, and that was a major life-changing event for me. I was able to work for Mr. Burt Willis, who had a practice, and he had only 2 requirements when he interviewed me. The first one was, tu parles français? Tu viens pour parler français si tu veux travailler ici. Long story short, do you speak French? And
No.
if you do speak French, that's great because our clients, it's necessary here.
Wow.
Small hometown practice, Pastor C.
Mhm.
And fast forward 30 years later, I am now able to tell you honestly that we have handled everything. As Mr. Bird told me, the second requirement, if you want to work here, we handle everything.
Wow.
If someone has a fighting chance in a legal matter, guess what? We're going to take on their matter and fight for them and do what's necessary to obtain justice for them. Again, I think that work experience for the past 30 years uniquely qualifies me. Not only do I have the most experience, my opponents have 25 and 26 years. I'm at now over 32 years experience. But again, Pastor, it's the breadth of experience. In order to, again, serve as your district judge, it is necessary that we be able to handle each and every particular matter. And I have that experience. I want to put that experience. I've been working for the people, and I want to work for you as the people's judge.
Awesome, awesome, man. That's a great story. So,
thank you.
In case you're just joining us, hey man, in case you all just joined us on tonight, I'm talking to Keith E. Thibodeau, candidate for division for the Louisiana 16th Judicial District Court, and that's, of course, F, all right, Division F. And so as we continue on tonight, sir, I got another question. Of course, I got a few more questions for you.
Thank you.
Discuss your qualifications for the office of District Judge, Division F.
Well, as we've mentioned, Pastor, I've, again, fortunately, over the past 30 years, not only have been able to practice in all areas of the law, both criminal and civil courtroom experience, but it's extremely important that, again, together with our life experiences, is that of our upbringing. My father was a boat captain, worked there in St. Mary Parish for quite some time. I can remember as a young teenager bringing him back and forth to work. My mother was a baker. I was the delivery guy. I was the one that delivered the hot, fresh bread and donuts, 15, 16 years old. Okay. Again, those experiences together with my qualifications, I think uniquely qualifies me to be your judge. It's often been said, that, again, my having worked with people from all walks of life. I may have represented one day a sugarcane farmer. The very next day is a client coming in for a contested divorce case. Those qualifications, again, have been with me. I believe in order to serve as your judge must have not only, again, the educational, but the life experiences. I have those. Yep. The court experience that we've had, again, both in criminal and civil courtrooms, has brought me, you name it. I may have a divorce one day where I have a young mother who's fighting desperately for custody of her children, and they're counting on you. And as your district judge, I understand that. That you're getting into an environment when you get into the legal system that is unknown. It is scary. It is often confusing. I've been able to help my clients navigate the system with compassion and fairness. My education and life experience, I think, go right hand in hand with that, being able to, again, represent them to assure that they receive justice. I think, again, I can do that. I want to do that. I have the energy. My staff here will, I think, back me up on that. My work ethic is, I believe, second to none. I'd rather be working. I don't want to look at the clock to see what time it is. If I'm in a courtroom and we've got matters to handle, I will be that judge who will do what's necessary to complete whatever is at hand that day. I don't want short court days. I'm willing to do that. In one of my many campaigning routines, I went over to a clerk's office and they said, well, Mr. Keith, the many clerks who are going to be with you in the courtroom, what's your experience about shutting down early? I said, oh, don't call my staff at my office, please. I don't want you to know that.
Wow.
There's no such thing as an early day. I like to do what is necessary. I'm there. You're paying me. I'm hired as your again, Judge. I want to complete whatever is necessary to handle that you get justice each and every day in our courtroom.
Amen. Amen. I'm honored. I'm honored that you're here, that you chose to, come on the green screen. I really appreciate that. And I like to tell all my guests
Pastor,
how much I appreciate them being here. So, Mr. Keith, so what can voters expect from the bench if you are elected?
Well, I think first and foremost is independence, Pastor. Just as much as I've told you what my life experience and experiences over the past 32 years practicing law, what I have not told you is that I have any type of political office holdings prior. I'm the only candidate in this race who has never run for political office before. Okay. I have no dues owed to anyone. I just can't think of any other pastor, any other political office where, to me, again, what I've seen in the courtroom for the past 32 years, I just cannot see any, again, political position which is more important in terms of independence. That is not coming to the courtroom, owing any political dues, any political influences. I've never, again, held political office. I never have run for office before. This is my first run. Yes, I have had the question presented to me. Well, Mr. Thibodeau, if this is going to be your first run at political office, will there be a second? I can definitely, without hesitation, tell you no. This is what I think I have to offer the people. I want to use that experience. I want to help the people of this district, the 16th Judicial District Court. And again, I do not have any aspirations to move on to any other political office. I want to again help the people of this district as their judge, the people's judge.
The people's judge. Yes, it's about 15 minutes after the hour, and of course you're tuned in live to the green screen on tonight. And my special guest on tonight, I have three different guests. My first special guest is, of course, one of the candidates for Louisiana 16th Judicial District Court Division F is Mr. Keith Thibodeau. Now, as we continue on, sir, I got to ask you this, man. So tell me, what makes you different from the other candidates?
Thank you again, Pastor. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
What again, in terms of the experience, I bring 32 years of experience to the bench, respectively 25 and 26 years of experience for my opponents. Yes, again, experience is important, but very importantly, the breadth of experience is, in my opinion, in the 16th Judicial District Court, because we are a general jurisdiction court. What does that mean? That means that we handle it. There are some courts, Pastor, where some people will say, well, Mr. Thibodeau, I've been to family court before, over in the 15th Judicial District Court, over in Lafayette Parish. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. A family court will handle just family matters. As a family court judge, guess what? You will handle only those issues dealing with family law. That is not so for Division F. That is not so for any of the divisions in the 16th Judicial District Court. Our first day as district judge would be January 3rd. The calendar is for that week a mixture of what you would expect, what I've seen. Again, handling perhaps a divorce case today. You may have a dispute between family members concerning an estate or a succession in terms of inheritance rights. I can, again, from day one, handle what needs to be handled. I have that experience. Wow. But again, what I do not have is any political ties. I think it's important that I stress that again. One of my opponents does have and holds political office. I've never run for political office before. I've never been in political races to where there may be some type of dues owed to me, some type of expectations from me from anyone. That is not so. That is not so. I have not run for office. I am truly your independent choice. And again, that's what it should be. If I've learned anything in the past 32 years of trying cases in the courtroom, is that your district judge, the judge handling your particular matter, is the last person who stands between you and justice. Yes, we hear it all the time, Pastor. It gets confusing. Well, what exactly is justice? Justice is getting a fair decision that you deserve, meaning that he or she, the judge, listens to the evidence in the courtroom, applies the law to that evidence, and renders a decision based on that evidence, not outside influences. As we all know, Lady Justice is blind. I plan and have done fill that role for her, and again, be your independent candidate for judge.
Wow, awesome, man, awesome. You're ready tonight. Thank you. You're ready. Hey, man. Hey, so most folks around the 16th Judicial District, they're calling you the people's judge. So why do you think they're calling you that?
Sure, Pastor C. I again was very fortunate. I was extremely blessed to have taken the advice of Judge Buddy Fleming 32 years ago when he advised me to go over to that older attorney that's been practicing forever, Mr. Burt Willis. He's looking for a youngster. Again, as we get on with life, we look back and we, look how fate has played an extremely important role in our life.
Oh, yes.
And that what I want to stress to your viewers, to your listeners, is just that over the past 32 years, I've helped the people as their attorney, giving them advice based on experience, giving them advice based on what I think is a fair result in the courtroom, not inflating what I thought that they might achieve in the courtroom, because it only comes back to haunt you. Your clients expect honest advice from you, good advice from you. And through those 30 years of giving that type of advice, giving that type of hard work ethic to get justice for my clients, I've been the people's attorney. I now humbly ask for, and people say, well, aren't you running as the people's judge? Yes, that is exactly what we have put on our information cards, our push cards, is that we are your judge, the people's judge. I want to be your judge. The Constitution of Pastor C of our state and our Constitution, national Constitution, reads very importantly, three words. The very beginning is, quote, "we the people." That is what the justice system is set there for. It's not set for what many people may think. It's geared for the lawyers. It's geared for anyone. No, it is geared for all people. We the people is just that. That is, I want to be your judge, the people's judge. I've been the people's attorney for the past 32 years. I have the hard work ethic. I have the compassion. I, again, want to be your judge, the people's judge. I humbly ask your support in that area.
Keith Thibodeau is live with me, ladies and gentlemen, on the green screen. Now, in the final minutes that we have left, we have about 9 more minutes. I would like for you on this evening to convince our audience, okay, those that may be watching later on Facebook, later on YouTube, those that are live now on Facebook, convince our audience on why should they vote for Keith Thibodeau.
Thank you again, Pastor C. Again, it's been a pleasure speaking with you this evening.
God bless you.
It's been an honor. I really do appreciate it. Again, Pastor, when we look back on life, we would hope that what we've done for people in society in general is something that our children and grandchildren would look up to us and say, that's something that I want to do. I want to be that person. I've always strived to, again, give people not only, of course, experienced advice, as I have with my experience, but just as importantly, I bring my life experiences in. I've worked. I've been there out in the oil field. I've been out there in the business field, accounting and so forth. All of those experiences are what I think I can bring to you, the people. The people deserve someone. Again, in the legal system, it is something that most people obviously would rather not have any taste of, and I understand that. I want to be that person who you come into my courtroom. It is, number one, fair. Very importantly, it is open. There are no undue influences. There are no firsthand experiences from the past that might influence my decision in a negative way. I really, again, think that as a district judge, you must be that person who listens. I couldn't have, not only in the courtroom, Pastor, but in my practice here. Obviously, when we go into the courtroom, it's not like what you see in the TVs, the movies, that, we're all the time in the courtroom. No, many hours are here interviewing clients, preparing, researching, doing what's necessary to make sure that when you are in that courtroom, that your client is going to receive justice. Again, as I mentioned earlier, justice is, from what I've learned in 32 years, is perhaps not receiving exactly what you want, but it's receiving what you deserve, considering the facts at hand, considering the law that applies to that, balancing both sides, listening to both sides. That is what I am able to do and will do as your district judge. You deserve a fair opportunity in any courtroom. You deserve hard work ethic. I've said before, there are procedures in place where, for example, in family law matters, we have what is called a hearing officer conference system. It's basically a mediation, a settlement proceeding where before you go to court, you meet, the attorneys meet, the clients meet, and you settle hopefully all issues, or if not, most of the issues. I want to see that. I'd like to see that apply to all civil law matters. Why? Because it will help streamline the process and give you, again, the people of this district, an opportunity to be heard in the courtroom, not months down the road, but sooner. Again, I have those ideas. Having practiced for 32 years, I can, in fact, do what's necessary to get you in a courtroom where you understand that I'm here to listen to your matter. Your matter is important. Every matter is important. That's what I've done through the years. There has been no unimportant cases for me. I understand handling that mother's case in a child support, child custody matter. I understand that businessman's dispute, unfortunately, with a partner who now says, well, I own more than you. I need this business. I've been there with the compassion and, again, fairness that I think I can handle and will handle for you as your judge, the people's judge. Further information, please, Pastor. I'd like your, again, viewers and listeners to look at our webpage, our campaign webpage. Okay. It is Thibodeau 4, the number 4, Thibodeau4judge.com. Not only will that get you to our campaign webpage, but Facebook, LinkedIn, all the normal internet media sites where we have very informative, information, including what I treasure dearly to my heart, testimonials by many of my clients, many of my peers over the past years, people from all walks of life. I honestly, truly believe it's worth taking a look at that. They will give you the indication of what I have done for them and what I want to continue to do for all of you. I humbly request your voters' support come November 3rd. That is next Tuesday. Please exercise your right to vote. This is extremely important. If we want change, Pastor, we have to be part of that change. If you don't vote, you're not part of the change. Your voice is silenced. Please don't let that happen. Exercise your right to vote next Tuesday, November 3rd. Thank you, Pastor, for your time. I've appreciated it. Thank you.
And I appreciate you so much for being here on tonight. If some listeners, audience have questions, does that place on your site for questions that they may have concerns about? Just wanted to know before you go.
Yes, they can make comments, Pastor, and we've had, fortunately, many comments made through all the different videos and informative videos we've made. Please place your comments upon. We want to, and we do respond. Very importantly, Pastor, your comment is not going to sit there. We will respond. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for that. And we're so glad that you joined us on tonight. And of course, that's Thibodeau4Judge, the number 4judge.com, correct?
That is correct, Pastor C. Correct.
All right. Well, we appreciate you for being here on tonight. We had from 8 to 8:30. Thank you so much. I'm getting ready for my next guest. And of course, we're looking forward to talking to you again. And may God continue to bless you and what you're doing, you and your family. And thank you so much for being a part of, I'm about to say Morning Inspiration, but for being a part of the green screen on tonight. Okay. And we'll talk to you real soon. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Pastor. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Take care. And you can just, from there, you can, as far as leave the meeting, you can do that on your end. Okay. And
All
I
right.
appreciate
Thanks
that.
again, Pastor C.
Well,
Truly
God bless you.
appreciate it.
Amen. Take care. Good
God
talking.
bless you too.
God bless. Amen. We're
Thank you.
talking to, amen, glory be to God. Just got through talking to the one and only, the man himself, Mr. Keith Thibodeau. All right. And so Keith is going to, is going off now. And of course, we're going to get our next guest on in just a moment. All right. And let's see here. We're going to guess he's in the room with us. Amen. Glory be to God. So let's see here. All right. Let's see. Okay. Okay. All right. And let's see here. All right. And so he's going to be doing that. You're live inside of the green screen. And there we go. You're live inside the green screen. I'm about to get my next guest on. And of course, I want to welcome the one and only, amen, Mr. Anthony Salimi. He's coming on in just a moment. Amen. Glory be to God. And we praise God for you. How are you doing, Mr. Tony, as they call you, huh? Anthony Salimi, how are you feeling on this evening? All right, it's going to get that audio going. Man, this is a little different for me on tonight. I usually have one guest the whole show, but tonight I got three guests, and they are all candidates for the 16th Louisiana 16th Judicial District Court. All right, and my next guest is Mr. Anthony Salimi. How are you doing on tonight? Can you hear me, sir? Uh-oh, your audio. You need to turn, let's go. You got your audio off on me. All right, so unmute your audio for me real quick, and we're going to continue on. All right, as soon as you do that. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Bam, there we go. That's it. That's it, man.
Okay.
How are you doing on tonight? Appreciate you so much.
I'm good, Pastor Lee. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for having me on.
Amen. And as I tell everyone that comes on the green screen, I thank you for being here. I appreciate you being on the green screen with me. So we got 30 minutes to talk, man. All right. And so let's get started, man. Thank you for being here. And ladies and gentlemen, we have, of course, Mr. Anthony Salimi. So do you like to be called Tony or Anthony? Because you know what I'm saying?
Well, I go by Tony. Most people call me Tony, although, you know, like
Okay.
I said, in court, I've been dressed, I'll answer to both, but most of my friends call me Tony.
Okay, Tony, that's cool. That's good. All right, so let's go, man. So let's tell the people who you are on this evening. Amen. Give us an introduction, family, educational, you know, background, organization, different things. Let's go.
Okay, thank you. Well, my name is Anthony Tony Salimi. I'm from Morgan City, Louisiana. I live here with my wife of 18 years, Shelly Bourgeois Salimi. We have 4 children, all between the ages of 10 and 17. They're all in school. They keep us very busy. I can tell you right now, my wife is looking very much forward to me coming back to being able to help and be a full-time husband and father instead of a campaigner, so I can help with the kids. We are members of Holy Cross Catholic Church, where we all participate in lay ministries there. I am a graduate of Central Catholic High School here in Morgan City. I graduated from what was then the University of Southwestern Louisiana with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. And after that, I went to the Loyola University College of Law in New Orleans, and I got my Juris Doctor in 1994. When I came back to St. Mary Parish after graduating from law school, I worked for the 16th Judicial District Court. I clerked for Division C, which at the time was in between 2 judges. It was the late Judge Edward Delahousie III and the new incoming judge, Judge John E. Connery. I did that clerkship for a year, and then I went to work for a small private firm here in Morgan City, where I worked there for 2 years and did pretty much everything that a general practice would do. At that point in 1997, I got an opportunity to go work for the district attorney's office. The job was in St. Martinville. It meant I was going to drive an hour and 15 minutes each way, but it was something that I wanted to do. I took the opportunity, and I've never looked back. It's been the best decision I've made. I've loved the work that I've done with the district attorney's office. I'm in my 27th year of practicing law and in my 23rd year of or actually 24th year of working with the DA's office. So I'm very happy with what I do. You know, they say if you love your job, it's never work. You know, and I love my job.
Right.
Some of the organizations that I'm with here in St. Mary Parish. I'm a member of the Franklin Rotary Club. I'm a Knight of Columbus in the Council 1710 in Patterson, a third-degree Knight. I'm a board member with the Community Action Agency of St. Mary Parish and Vermilion Parish. I'm also a member of the local Ducks Unlimited chapter and the National Rifle Association. I am like I said, I'm seeking the position of District Court Judge for Division F, which is currently held by Judge Greg Aucoin. And I am respectfully asking for the people of St. Mary Parish, St. Martin Parish, and Iberia Parish for their consideration and their vote come November 3rd.
So as we're talking to you on tonight, did you grow up wanting to be an attorney?
No, actually, my father's a local pediatrician. We moved here when he finished his residency in New Orleans, and he's from here originally. We moved back after he finished with his school, and he was a pediatrician here for about 30 years. I thought I was going to be a doctor. I thought I was going to follow in his footsteps. And my dad has a saying, tell God your plans if you want to make him laugh. Mm-hmm. And I got to college and college chemistry, decided that I wasn't going to be a doctor. So I looked at some other things. I saw some family members that worked in the legal field and talked to them and thought it might be something I'd want to do. I went to law school and I went another decision that I've never looked back on.
Wow. So how did you end up working at the district attorney's office?
I had some friends that were assistant DAs. I was doing in the general civil practice. I did mostly domestic. We did a little bit of personal injury. I didn't find myself satisfied. You know, I didn't hate what I did, but I didn't get the personal satisfaction out of it. And when I talked to them, they seemed to really enjoy what they did and describing what they would do at work. To me, it sounded like something I would enjoy. So I put in an application, and when an opening came up, they contacted me. And like I said, it wasn't necessarily down the street. I had a little bit of a drive, and I made that commute, and it was worth it.
Well, you know, in case you all just joining us on tonight, I'm talking to the candidates for Louisiana 16th Judicial District Court, and my second guest on tonight, we're talking to Anthony Tony Salimi. And of course, you've been hearing his background and you know, and how did he grow up to be an attorney? So, and how you end up working at the district attorney's office. All right, and now I guess, hey man, so what does a assistant DA does?
Okay, well, that's a good question, and I think a lot of people, if they watch courtroom dramas, they think, well, they prosecute people, but mm-hmm. It's a lot more than that. But that's I'd say that would be chiefly what we do. We handle cases. What happens is once a law enforcement agency makes an arrest of a person, they send a file to us, and we have to the assistant DA. We screen our cases. Mm-hmm. Assistant DAs are assigned certain types of cases. And for instance, I handle major felonies and like robberies, murders, things like that, firearm related crimes. I would get a file in from a law enforcement agency. What I have to do is I have to take a look at that file and look at the facts. And of course, it's not just paper these days. Nowadays, our law enforcement agencies are equipped with recording equipment for statements from witnesses, or if the defendant were to elect to make a statement. They have, a lot of times people have surveillance video from home security systems or a business security system. So officers are now wearing body cams. Cars are equipped with dashboard cameras. So it's a lot more that we have available to us than it used to be, back when I started 23 years ago. We get that information and we look at it. And the first decision we have to make is, did we believe that a crime occurred? And we look at the facts and we apply it to the law. And when the police arrest somebody, their standard is there probable cause for an arrest? So basically, is it more likely than not that the person committed the crime or the person that committed a crime? The standard for an that an assistant DA uses when they're screening it, and obviously when we go to trial, it's proving it beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much higher standard. But we have to determine first, did a crime occur? Secondly, can we prove that a crime occurred? And that's a little bit harder. Like I said, a lot of times I'll get a file, I'll look at it, and you can tell, hey, something happened here. So, there was a crime that occurred. But then we also have to look at it and say, do we have evidence that's admissible in a court of law to prove that that happened? And sometimes the answer to that question is different. And there have been many times that I've had to sit down with victims and have hard discussions with them and saying, I believe something happened. I believe you were the victim of a crime. However, through no fault of your own, at the end of the day, I can't prove it. There's not enough for me to take that to a jury or to a judge and in good conscience ask them to come back with a verdict of guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's what an assistant DA does when they're screening a case. They're looking at those two things to determine whether they're going to file a charge. And then once they get to that point that they file a charge, then they start looking at what do we think would be an appropriate resolution to the case? And in the talks that I give, I always talk about justice, that justice isn't a cookie cutter thing. It's not the same for every person, for every crime. It's going to be different. And for some people who commit violent offenses, justice is to be charged with a crime, convicted after a trial, and sentenced to jail. But that's not going to be justice for everybody. Sometimes justice is recognizing that this person has mental health issues and they need help, or this person has a substance abuse problem and they need help, and help that is not going to be achieved in jail. So these folks might need probation with requirements that they get mental health counseling or enter a drug abuse treatment center. And that's justice for them. Justice may be for a youthful person who's made a bad decision that you don't want to saddle that person with a conviction that's going to hinder their educational opportunities or their future work opportunities. So maybe that person needs pretrial diversion. And sometimes when you screen in a case, Pastor Lee, you look at it and you apply the facts to the law and you just see, hey, what this person did was not criminal at all, and nothing should happen. The case should be declined. So an assistant DA makes that call every time they screen a case, making that determination. And while most attorneys represent one client, a client that pays them generally, they represent that one client, that one client's interest, whether that interest is good or bad for the community. An assistant DA, we represent the general public. And our duty is to seek justice, not just to get a conviction, not just for that one person's interest. We seek justice, and I think that makes us pretty unique and uniquely qualified in the area of fairness. Now, assistant DAs do other things other than prosecute criminals. We also work. The district attorney's office has many departments. We have a non-support department where we help parents who are raising their children obtain financial help from the other parent in order to raise these kids. That's a service that we provide free of charge to parents who are seeking child support. We have in our juvenile department, we have a child in need of care hearings where we go into situations where kids are being abused or neglected and try to remedy those situations. We also handle delinquency in the juvenile department for children who are not old enough to be who are not old enough to be in adult court, they're when they commit offenses, they're handled in juvenile court. We have, in addition to that, we also have elder assistance, where we deal with crimes that are committed against the elderly. We have a victims assistance department, where we advocate for victims' rights, not only during the course of a prosecution, but afterwards during probation hearings and parole hearings. We're there with victims, holding their hands and advocating for them through the process. As well as our department has our DA's office has an early intervention department, where we have people that are working in the schools, taking referrals from teachers with regard to kids who may need a little more attention at home and being prepared for school, seeing that they don't become a future problem and maybe end up in juvenile court. We have families in need of services, where we try to remedy problems at home, again, so that kids don't graduate to juvenile court delinquency, where we're dealing with offenses later on. Mm-hmm. So there's so many things that we do in the district attorney's office other than just prosecute criminals.
Wow. So I hear you talking about an assistant, what an assistant district attorney does, but so how does the assistant DA differ from the attorney themselves? How's that different?
Well, and I kind of touched on that and got ahead of that, on that in my last answer, is that the main thing is we don't represent one person.
Okay.
In like I said, in a case involving most attorneys, including my two opponents, they represent their clients. They represent people that pay them, and the people that pay them, they represent them and their interest in court. And that's basically how most attorneys work. The attorney-client relationship works. With regard to assistant DAs, again, the American Bar Association model rules for prosecutors say your client is the general public. Your duty is to seek justice. So we don't represent the sheriff. We don't represent the chief of police. We're not representing the parish president. When we're screening cases and we get into court, we're representing the general public. And our duty is not to one person's interest. Our duty is to seek justice. And as I discussed a little bit earlier, justice can be anything from prosecuting someone, convicting them and sending them to jail, all the way to recognizing that what somebody did was not criminal and declining the case.
Wow. That's interesting. In case you just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to one of the candidates for the Louisiana 16th Judicial District Court, Division F, and that is Mr. Anthony on this evening, Tony Salimi. All right, so man, what are some of the, just out of curiosity, what are some of the major influences in your life?
Well, Pastor Lee, I'd have to say that probably the biggest influence in my life is my faith. I am, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a Christian. I'm a Roman Catholic, and that comes to play in my life. In my faith, I try to live my faith. Another major influence in my life is my family. And that's my parents, as well as my wife and my immediate family here, my wife and kids. My parents instilled in me at a young age a very strong sense of fairness, and they treated my sisters and I. They were very big on fairness and not treating us any different, making sure that everyone kind of got the same treatment, so that no one would complain that they got more or less than the other. And then I met my wife, who is coincidentally from Patterson, and she has instilled in me so much, both influencing me and also through my faith. She has brought me a lot to a much deeper understanding of my faith. I have, like I said, I have there's a saying that I've developed that she's helped me, is that whenever I have a challenge in my life, I don't run from it. I take it as a cross, and I embrace it, and I take it as an opportunity to get closer to God. So like I said, we've had some difficulties in our life when my youngest daughter was 20 months old. She was diagnosed with leukemia, and that was a very hard time for me. I struggled with that. I had to, why would God do that to an innocent child? And then afterwards, I kind of started looking around, and I saw people that maybe weren't living their best Christian lives, and didn't seem to be suffering any consequences for it. And I started getting kind of angry, as to why is this happening? And my wife got me to understand that, this was a cross that I needed to embrace. I needed to stop being mad and start and learn from it. And when I opened my eyes, and I truly opened my eyes, I saw that the situation involving my daughter was not as bad as it could have been. Every time we went to the hospital for her treatments, we saw people there that had it so much worse. And she had an excellent recovery, response to the treatment. She has been cancer-free for 8 years and chemo-free for 6 years. So we've been blessed. When I opened my eyes, I got to see Jesus in my community, both my faith community and my local community, that stepped forward and donated blood and made and cooked meals for us, and rode to the hospital with my wife for treatments, and without being asked. And so I would have never thought that what my daughter went through would bring me closer to God, but it did. And my wife helped me to see that. And look, like I said, I definitely was not always so spiritually enlightened. I'm the kind of guy that looks at something and says, I'm the guy that kind of says, what about the prodigal son's older brother? What about him? What about him? Or
okay,
what about in the parable of the vineyard? What the people that started working at 6 a.m. And they got the same pay as the people that came to work right before quitting time. I'm kind of questioning that. And I guess that's the prosecutor in me. But I have to remind myself that church isn't a courtroom, and God is not applying man's law. So, but definitely my wife and my faith are two of the major influences in my life.
Wow, I appreciate you letting us know those influences in your life. We got about I guess about 8 minutes or so left. So you're seeking this position, all right? So what is your general judicial philosophy?
Pastor Lee, I'd have to say that my general judicial philosophy is that a judge is there just to do that, to judge the cases that are before him or her. They are not there to actually try the cases. That's for the lawyers. They're not there to tell the lawyers how to do their job. They're not there to tell the clerk of court how to do their job. They're not there to tell the sheriff or any other elected official how to do their job. I guess to put it in simple terms, they're there to call balls and strikes. If there's a case that's brought in front of them that needs a decision made, then they're there to make those decisions, or they're there to decide what evidence that a jury gets to see, or what testimony a jury gets to hear. And I guess sometimes when judges step out of that role and they start trying to become like the legislature or the executive branch, I think that's when judges get into trouble. So my general judicial philosophy will be to be the judge and only be a judge.
In these minutes that we have, I got to ask you this. I need you to convince. What not need you to, but what would you say to convince our audience as to why they should vote for you?
I'm the only candidate in this race with any prosecuting experience. I think my experience as an assistant district attorney, that the experience that I've had in the courtroom, I've had the opportunity to try many cases. I've tried over 40 jury trials in my time. One opponent has never tried a jury trial. My other opponent has only tried a few. I've tried hundreds of bench trials, both misdemeanor and felony cases, and I've tried thousands of motion hearings. I have a vast amount of true courtroom trial experience. There's a lot of lawyers that go to court and stand around, and when their case is called up, they tell the judge, "Hey, we've resolved the case," and they put their deal on there. Not every lawyer gets in there and actually litigates and actually puts on a case and questions witnesses and introduces evidence. That's not what every lawyer does. And I believe that I have the most courtroom trial experience out of any of the candidates that are in this race. Also, as an assistant DA, I've worked closely with law enforcement throughout the entire district at every level, from the sheriff and the chiefs of police to the detectives and the narcotics agents, to patrolmen, to corrections officers and process servers. I've taught them in the academy at the beginning of their careers. I teach a continuing legal education course where I help bring them up to speed on the changes that the legislature makes to our criminal laws every year. I'm also on call 24/7. My phone number is provided to the dispatchers at all the law enforcement agencies in St. Mary Parish. And I tell them, if somebody's got a question, call me. I would rather deal with something on the front end and get it done right than have to fix a problem later on down the line. Mm-hmm. So working closely with law enforcement, I think, is good. I have, as an assistant DA, when I work with a case, I deal with victims and witnesses from very diverse backgrounds. People that I don't have any control over that. I don't get to pick, okay, I want this person to be my victim and I want that person to be my witness. When a case comes in, that's predetermined. So I'm dealing with folks from all different levels of socioeconomic levels and backgrounds. And like I said, I've worked with them for over 23 years. I treat everybody that I deal with the proper dignity and respect. I recognize that I'm a public servant, and I work for the public. So that's who I'm dealing with, and I treat them with respect and that they deserve. I'm also, as an assistant DA, I advocate for victims. That's something that neither of my opponents has had the opportunity to do. I get in there and I will advocate for victims of violent crimes, asking judges for jail time. I'll advocate for victims of property crimes, trying to get restitution, fighting that they are made whole for the crimes that they've suffered. And that's something that neither of my opponents has had the opportunity to do. Like I said, both of the other two candidates have made a point of saying that they're not prosecutors. And like I said, I think that being a prosecutor makes me a better candidate and makes me a candidate that the people of the 16th Judicial District need, that the people of the 16th Judicial District deserve.
And so in our last minute and a half, give the audience your number, and of course, once again, ask for their support, right?
Sure.
Your number.
I am Anthony Tony Salimi. I'm number 76 on the ballot. I encourage the people of the 16th Judicial District to educate themselves about the candidates. Look at our backgrounds. You can check mine on Facebook at Committee to Elect Anthony J. Salimi. We also have a website, salimiforjudge.com. Get to know the backgrounds of the candidates, and vote for the most qualified candidate, which like I said, I believe it is that when you compare our experience I think mine stands out, and I ask for your consideration. I ask for your support. And on November 3rd, I ask for your vote.
Well, I appreciate you so much, Mr. Anthony Tony Salimi, for being here on tonight, man, on the green screen. And once again, God bless you and what you're doing. And we're looking forward to talking to you real soon. Once again, I appreciate you being on this green screen on this evening. And thank you for joining us. Amen. And appreciate you so much. All right.
Thank you, Pastor Lee. It's been a pleasure.
Have a good night. We'll talk to you real soon. God bless.
Thank you. Good.
Amen.
God bless you.
All right. Amen. Glory be to God. All right. Let's see. All right. Okay, gang. Hey, thank y'all so much for locking it in. And I'm about to go and continue on. You're live inside the green screen on tonight. And it's a special edition. We're going to continue on with the green screen. It is a special edition of the green screen on tonight. And of course, we have our third guest on this evening. And man, I thank God for each and every one of you all for joining us. All right. So we're talking to the candidates for the Louisiana, amen, as they're running for judge for the Louisiana 16th District Judicial District Court Division F. And my last special guest on tonight is Miss Natalie Broussard. Welcome to the green screen, Miss Natalie. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Amen. I'm doing real well. Thank you for being here with us on tonight. I appreciate you so much for taking time out of your schedule on a Friday night at that to be here with us. So let's talk. Tell us who is Natalie Broussard.
Well, I just wanted to thank you first for having me tonight and giving me this opportunity, and my pleasure to be here. So I appreciate it. I am Natalie Broussard. Just to give you a little bit of background about me, I am an attorney. I've been practicing law for over 25 years. I am from New Iberia, Louisiana. I graduated from New Iberia Senior High School. After graduating from high school, I went to LSU, where I earned a Bachelor of Criminal Justice. After earning my Bachelor of Criminal Justice, I married my high school sweetheart. We've been married now for almost 30 years. I stayed in Baton Rouge and went to law school at LSU. Graduated from LSU Law School and returned back to New Iberia and opened my own law practice. I'll get to my family part before I get to my career part. My husband and I, we had 4 children. My oldest son is presently on active duty in the United States Navy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very proud of him for doing that. Being a military mom has really opened my eyes up and changed my perspective on a lot of things. He just got back from deployment in Bahrain, and he's stationed in Gulfport, Mississippi. So I think he got electricity back today from the storm that just hit them.
Wow.
He's also recently made me a grandma, and
congratulations.
Yes, thank you. My grandson was born just over a month ago, so it's been very exciting around here. My daughter is also married to a United States sailor. You know how the story goes. Got that phone call. Hey, Mom, do you mind if I bring some guys home from base that, hadn't been home for a while, and they can get a home cooked meal? Well, so now my daughter's married to his roommate.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, now. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I have my caboose is in the 7th grade at Loreauville High School. I'm not so sure that she's looking forward to starting 5 days a week. They just announced that they were going to go to 5 days a week on November 16th, but she was very thankful to be back in school at least part-time. So, and then my 4th one is an angel that I have in heaven, Mary Ellen. She passed away in 2006.
Oh, wow.
So that's a little bit about my family history. As far as my work history, after I graduated from LSU Law School and returned to New Iberia, I opened a general law practice and started my own firm, where I've handled civil and criminal cases for over 25 years now. I've handled just about any kind of civil case you can imagine, doing family law, real estate, successions, estate planning, doing wills. I've handled corporate law, business law, collection work, just about any type of civil case you can imagine, I've handled it. And I've also handled criminal cases as well, anywhere from simple trespassing or disturbing the peace all the way up to first-degree murder. So I have extensive experience in both civil and criminal law. And as you can imagine, that type of law has brought me into the courtroom often. I've handled thousands of cases and hundreds of trials, both judge trials and jury trials. In addition to my work experience, you know, I believe that serving as a judge is just that, serving the people. And I think it's important for us to look at the history of the candidates and see who truly understands what it means to serve their community. I started serving my community when I was a young child, probably in the 3rd or 4th grade. My mom was the director of the American and Red Cross, and there was a horrible flood in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. And we got on a bus and went up there and met my parents and started working the flood. We worked in the shelter. We worked the food lines. I even went door to door with Red Cross workers to assess damages and give vouchers. And so that's, you know, serving my community and doing for others is just something that was instilled in me as a very young child. I continued it in my young adult life. As a teenager, I joined the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Department Explorer Post. We called ourselves junior deputies, and we assisted the deputies. I worked in the dispatch office, handling 911 calls as a teenager. I did worked parades, and we did many things with law enforcement and assisted law enforcement. And then I continued in my adult life, volunteering for agencies such as the United Way, CASA, just about any kind of nonprofit. If they needed something, I volunteered for it. I've worked with multiple nonprofits in our community. I've also served on the Mayor's Blue Ribbon Commission for Law Enforcement, served on was the chairman of the New Iberia City Charter Commission, which that charter did get approved by our voters, and it is the charter that we operate under now. I also was instrumental in the Moving New Iberia Forward PAC, which helped to pass the tax to get our police department back up and running in New Iberia. So I've been very, very active in my community and serving my community. But in addition to that, been very active in my church, where I was a Sunday school teacher. I've served on many boards and committees in my church, the stewardship committee, the board of trustees, the school board committee, the missions committee. We've also been involved with our church with a program. It's called the America Belarusian Relief Organization. And that's an organization that works with the children that were victims of the Chernobyl nuclear accident. I'm sure you can remember the Chernobyl accident. It happened going on 30 years ago now, but that was when the nuclear plant erupted and radiation landed all over the Ukraine and Belarus. And this program is designed to bring the kids into America just to get them out of the contaminated environment. They expect the environment to last, take about 25,000 years for it to be decontaminated naturally. And so they come to America for 6 weeks every year and decontaminate. They just breathe fresh air, eat uncontaminated food. We show them the love of Christ, introduce them to God, to church, show them what being a Christian is all about. We get them medical care, dental care, eye exams, and just love on them for 6 weeks. And it's believed that for every 6 weeks they're out of the environment, that their lifespan will be increased by 4 to 6 years.
Wow.
So that's a program that I've been involved with since 2006. I've actually been the coordinator of it for about the last 10 years. And we've gotten, sometimes we've had up to 20 kids per summer. So, I think that all of those things are very important to look at when you're looking at your next, the candidates for district judge, because you need a judge that understands what it means to serve people and serve their community. So that's just a little bit of a background about me.
Awesome. Awesome. So in case you all just joined us on tonight, we're talking to none other than Natalie Broussard, and she's one of the candidates for the District Judge Division F 16 Judicial District. So Ms. Natalie, I noticed that, you've been an attorney of about 25 years or so. So why are you seeking this position now?
Well, that's a pretty interesting question, why I'm seeking it now. I'd like to tell you a little story that happened probably after I started practicing, maybe 5 or 6 years. I went into the courtroom and tried a custody case. And as an attorney, you know your cases, and a lot of times you have a pretty good feeling of what the outcome is going to be. And this was one of those type of cases. I was pretty convinced of what the outcome was going to be, especially after the father testified that he had been abusing drugs every day of his life since he was 13 years old. Didn't expect the surprise when I lost that custody case. And when I lost that custody case, I had to look around the courtroom and face a cold hard fact. And that was that politics do exist in the courtroom. I saw a judge that had political aspirations. I saw an opposing attorney that had political aspirations.
Wow.
And I knew right then and there that something needed to be done and a change needed to be made. And that's when the fire was ignited in me. And that's when I began my battle and began my fight to get myself in a position to be able to really make a change in people's lives.
Wow, that was an interesting case, right?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Very
yes.
interesting case.
Yes, ma'am. I thank you for being here on tonight as we continue on. I have to ask you this because, it's just so many things are going on right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. We know what's going on, all right? So do you think there's racial disparities that exist in the local justice system?
Absolutely.
So what do you think, what do you plan to do if you're elected to rectify that?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the attitude and the beliefs of the person that's rendering the decisions. I've told a story many times about a school teacher that had come into my office and was going for a consultation. And at the end of the consultation, she just said, Miss Natalie, you're not at all what I expected of you. I equated to doctor's bedside manners. And I said, I know exactly what you're talking about. I said, but, the way I look at people is there's no one that's more important than me. If you weren't at school teaching my children, I couldn't be doing my job. If the grocery stocker at the store wasn't over there stocking the shelves, I couldn't do my job. If the garbage man wasn't picking up my trash, I couldn't do my job. There is not a single job, not a single person that is more important than the next in this world. And it takes each and every one of us to make the world go round. And I think that, if you have somebody that recognizes that and understands that and can treat people fairly, that'll go a long ways. In my career as a sole proprietor, opening my own law practice, I have come across, all walks of life, people in all different stages of life. You help everybody. I mean, there's no difference between anybody. There's nobody any more important than the next. Yeah, I heard some of the things that were said by some of the candidates that were on here before me. And to say that I've never fought for victims, that he's the only candidate that's ever fought for victims. I fight for victims every single day. You know, it may be a victim of domestic violence. It may be a victim of an employee theft, where I'm representing a small business that their employee stole from them. You know, we represent people that are victims of things every day. Every day I'm dealing with someone who is going through something that's some of their worst times of their lives. You know, when someone walks into my office, the only time that they're coming in there for something good is if they're adopting a child or if they're buying a house. Otherwise, there's something wrong in their world. And I have to tell you that that's some of the most rewarding moments of my career when, you know, they sit down across from my desk with me for about an hour. And when they take that sigh of relief and they walk out and they know they're going to be okay, that they have a chance, they understand their rights, they understand that someone's there protecting them and fighting for them. You know, that's so satisfying and so rewarding for me.
How have this your campaign experience trail been?
It's been very, very positive. It's been a blessing. It's been rewarding to sit and meet with people and to hear their needs and you know, even to understand their frustrations. You know, I hear a lot of people out there, they're frustrated with the system. A lot of it is the inefficiency of the system. You know, you hear people that go to court month after month after month just to be handed a piece of paper and told to come back next month. You know, whether that is someone accused of a crime, whether it's a witness or a victim, there's just a lot of inefficiency. And COVID has taught us that, you know, we can and we should do things better. There's no excuse for what's going on. We've been forced to utilize technology through COVID, and we can see that it works, and we need to keep doing it. There's no reason. I mean, just like we're doing right here, having this meeting. There's no reason why we can't make the courtroom a lot more efficient by using methods such as this to do hearings. I realize that we can't do trials, and there's a lot of things that cannot be done electronically, that they have to be done in person. But there's a lot of things that can, and it'll save a lot of time. It'll save a lot of money. You know, employers are losing their employees for repeated court appearances. That's affecting their efficiency. You know, it's not fair to victims. It's not fair to people that are accused of crimes. They need closure. So, you know, we need to bring technology to the courtroom. I'm hearing that on the campaign trail a lot about the inefficiency and how long it takes to get things through the system. And that's not just in the criminal arena, that's in the civil arena as well. You know, you're waiting 6 months, 12 months to get a child support, spousal support hearing done, or visitation, custody done. There's a lot of improvement that we can do.
How do you? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, no. So, how do you feel about you know, as far as bringing technology into the system more? You would love to see that done?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I fully intend on bringing technology into the courtroom a lot more in my courtroom, as well as different things that can improve the efficiency, such as staggering the dockets to where you don't have everybody appearing at 9 o'clock in the morning and staying there all day long until 4:30 saying, okay, time's up, you'll have to come back another day. You know, I think there's a lot of things. Sometimes the judges, you know, everybody's waiting on the judges so that the judges doesn't wait on anybody else. And, you know, everybody's time is just as important as the judge's time. And I think if we can have the attorneys in their office being productive, the employees at work being productive, and staggering the docket to where people can come at different times of the day. If the judge, I have to wait a few minutes for someone to get there for their time, that's not a problem. I think it's being more considerate, more respectful of others and their time. So technology, other methods such as staggering the docket is definitely some of the things that I want to bring into play. And I also would like to see us start working on implementing a mental health court. I know you've heard of specialized courts before. The 16th does have the drug court program, which is one kind of specialized court. A lot of people in the area are familiar with, like, the 15th JDC has a family law court. So there's different types of specialized courts, but I would love to see us work on bringing in a mental health court. I think that would improve not only the adults that come in the system, but if we can get to some of our youth, some of our juveniles before it's too late, if you will, before they commit some serious offenses, I think that would serve multi-purposes for our community. You know, mental health courts are designed to try to reduce the rate of crime or criminal activity so that, you know, like when you're treating them and you're ensuring that they're getting treatment and you're ensuring that they're taking their medicines, there's a less chance of the criminal activity happening. When you have less criminal activity going on, obviously you have less cost to the taxpayers. So you are reducing your incarceration, you're reducing your time in the courtroom. So, you know, it's a win-win. And if you look at our juveniles and a lot of our adults, I see that, you know, mental health issues I think that's one of our major crises. Is we've lost all of our treatment for mental health, and
Wow.
it's real easy to blame it on a lot of things, but we're not treating our mentally ill. And if we can start getting some treatment for them, I think that would go a long ways with solving a lot of our criminal problems.
And if you're elected, Miss Natalie, Mrs. Natalie, do you have some changes in mind that you would like to see to take place?
Well, I mean, in addition to, you know, it's a lot of the things that we've talked about as far as bringing the technology into play,
Right.
staggering the dockets. I'd love to see the mental health court. You know, a lot of the changes is just in the attitude, and that is, you know, having somebody that understands what's needed. You know, when you have someone with the experience that I have, being in the courtroom as often as I've been in both civil and criminal law, I think it's important. You know, that's a big thing that the voters need to look for, is the type of experience, not only the experience. You can see things from different perspectives. So, you know, when you've only been practicing one area of law, one side of law for 20 plus years, it's very hard to see all the different perspectives of a case. You know, as a private attorney and handling all different types of cases, all different types of people, all different walks of earth, stages of life, I have that unique ability to see all different angles of a case. And, you know, that gives me different understandings, different compassion. You can see what the people need, and treat people more uniquely. You have to be able to look at the totality of the circumstances, look at the facts that are before you, and you apply the law and the evidence based on those facts. So I think it's important that we make that change and we start electing judges that have the right type of experience. And, you know, the other thing is independence. I am the only candidate in this race that has been elected official. I'm the only one with a record that has gone out and had to vote on things that may not have been politically popular, but it was the right thing to do. I have proven that I can stand up to those political pressures and I can maintain my independence. It's very hard to say that you have no political ties, and you don't owe any political favors when you have endorsements from present political figures and past political figures. If that doesn't have political ties to it, I don't know what does. You know, I'm the only candidate that doesn't have those type of endorsements. And I'm the only candidate who has a proven record of making decisions that are independent and not politically popular. And I think people are tired of it. They're tired of politics affecting the decisions. You know, this affects our families. It affects our children. It affects our businesses. We have no business having a judge that owes political favors and is going to succumb to the political pressures when they're trying to make these decisions that affect people's lives. So, you know, I think the experience and the independence is something that I'm going to bring to the bench that's going to be a big change.
And that's what I was about to ask you in our 6 minutes that we have left on this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's late on the green screen, but hey, we're talking to Natalie Broussard for District Judge Division F, and she's my third guest on tonight. But Ms. Natalie, what I wanted to ask you in these final moments is for you to, you know, convince our audience to give you that vote, because you know that one vote makes a difference, correct?
Absolutely.
So what would you say to them?
What I would say to them is, you know, don't be fooled by the candidates that talk about their experience. Actually look at what their experience is. We need a judge that has experience in both criminal and civil law. When the judge takes the bench in January, they're going to be immediately hearing cases that involve civil and criminal law. And so there's no time to learn new law. There's no learning curve. You need a judge that can hit the ground running. I have that experience in both criminal and civil law, and I have the courtroom experience. I have tried hundreds of cases. I am in the courtroom more hours than I am in my office. So look at the type of experience and look at the independence. The independence and experience are two of the most important factors here. And also, you know, I'd like the voters to consider the heart of the candidates. You know, it's real easy to say that you've served your people when you've done your job. But what really matters and what really shows your heart is what you've done on your time off. And my history of volunteering for my community is unmatched. I think my experience is unmatched, my independence is unmatched, and my dedication to my community is unmatched. And, you know, I do believe I am the most experienced, most independent, and most dedicated candidate in this election. So I'd encourage the voters to get educated, look at all of our websites, look at all of our Facebook pages, and see. And I think you'll see that I am the one who for over 25 years has been serving not only my community, but the people that I represent. I've been protecting people. I've been protecting their rights. I've been fighting for them. I've been, you know, protecting the Constitution, protecting our laws, and I've been the fairest one out there. So, you know, if you want more information about me, our website is Natalie for Judge, and that is the number 4. You can go to our website. You can search us on Facebook, Natalie for Judge. We have an Instagram. We have a Twitter. We even have a TikTok. So if you have any trouble finding me, you know, you can email me. You can call us. We'd be happy to come out and meet with you.
Ms. Natalie, I appreciate you so much. We're almost there. We got about 2 minutes or so. But listen, what do you think about the you know, this record-breaking early voting? Is that good?
I am so excited about this record-breaking early voting.
Yes,
We're close to 30% early voting. That I have seen races that you didn't even have that in total voting. So I am so proud. I mean, as a military mom, you can about imagine that, you know, I have my son out there fighting for us to have that right. And he's willing to sacrifice his life for us to have these rights. And to see that people are actually using that and going out and exercising their right to vote, it just thrills me to death. I'm very thankful for it.
Wow. Awesome. Well, I just want to tell you that I appreciate you being here with us on tonight on the green screen, and give the folks your number, if you don't mind, on tonight before we go.
Yes, I'm Natalie Broussard. I'm number 75 on the ballot. I'm asking you for your vote. I'm asking for your support, but most of all, I'm asking you for your prayers. So I thank all of your listeners for listening. I thank you for having us. And I know it's late on a Friday night for you too. So I thank you for you giving us this opportunity to tell your listeners a little bit more about me.
Well, I appreciate you, and then looking forward to talking to you real soon. And like I told all the other candidates, God bless and take care. I appreciate you so much. Have a blessed night, okay?
Thank you. You too.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And of course, amen, there you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters. There you have it. We've had all three candidates on tonight for the candidates for district judge, 16th division, amen, the 16th judicial, all right, division F. And man, check it out. Go back and check it out. Listen to them. And I pray that you, from this interview that I had with them on tonight, that you will make the decision. Amen. You will, that'll help you make the decision of who you would like to see as your next district judge for Division F, Judicial 16th. All right. So appreciate it, man. Hey, that's going to do it for me. And on a Friday night, it has been a special edition of the Green Screen. I want to thank all of y'all on Facebook for joining me on tonight. And I'm yours truly, Pastor C. And that's right. I'm reminding you that the next time someone asks you how you are feeling, what you going to do? Hey, what you going to tell them? What you going to do? What you going to tell them? It feels good to feel good. And that's definitely a good feeling. God bless you all. Love you much. And we'll see you next time on the Green Screen. Discussions at hand. God bless. Good night.